Hi everyone, Aletha here of Ribbons and Zippers. Welcome back to my channel. So we have graduations, proms, weddings. May and June is a special time for weddings and a lot of other special celebrations and special occasions. It also brings about a very busy time for us as dressmakers. So I am going to be doing a graduation dress. I am going to do part draping and the rest of the dress is going to be drafted out as a pattern. Only because the front of the dress is a cowl neck and I want to get a good visual of how it's going to look. So I'm going to drape that part out first and then I'm going to pattern it and then I'm going to pattern out the rest of the dress. So stick with me and watch me as I go along doing the pattern and making this beautiful dress. Stay tuned. Okay, so before I start draping my cowl top, this is the muslin that I prepared. I cut it 36 by 36 inches and I drew a bias line. This is because you have to drape on the bias. Okay, so I'm going to fold it over because I need to have a facing on the inside of the cowl. So I'm going to match the lines on the bias so I can create a facing as I'm draping. Okay, so this is about maybe 18 inches. So let's go ahead over to the form and start draping. Okay, so my dress is going to have straps. And since it's going to have straps, I'm going to drape from here and it's going to extend that, not plunging, but from the strap line, it's going to be a modest drape right along here. So what I need to do is go ahead and center my muslin. The bias line needs to be centered straight down. And once I do that, I'm going to start creating that drape effect. So I'm going to start by centering the bias line here right on the center of the dress form. And so, yeah, let's make it even on both sides. That's about what I would like to see. So when I remove the pin, I'm going to have a modest drape. It's not going to be plunging, just a modest drape because that's the effect that I want. I don't want it to be too plunging, just a nice small drape. Okay, so we're going to make sure that this bias line goes straight down. We don't want it crooked or anything, just straight down. And once we have it, let's start pinning from the waistline. Okay, so I'm going to start pinning at the waistline right here. And I'm going to pin all the way across one side and all the way across the other side. So we're going to start pinning once, and you can feel the waistline tape. And all you need to do is just pin your bodice all the way across. While you're pinning, make sure to smooth out your muslin. Don't pull, just smooth. And you can see that there's stress lines, but we're going to take care of that once we get the pins in place on the waistline. So just keep pinning all the way across. And so just keep pinning and pinning all the way across. And I know we can see some stress lines here, but that's okay. We're going to keep pinning and I'll show you how to relieve these stress lines in just a minute. Okay? Okay, so now that I've pinned both sides, what I need to do now is just relieve some of the stress. You can see how it's stressing. So I'm just going to cut straight up along this bias line until I get to the waistline. So I'll just cut, cut, and you can see already, look at that. Look how it's just going away. And so what I need to do now is just go ahead and get rid of some of this fabric. Okay, so that's pretty good, but I can still see some stress lines, so I'm just going to unstress it. Here we go. So yeah, nobody needs stress. Huh. That's just a joke. Anyway, it looks pretty good. And as I go along, I'm just going to smooth. We never want to pull, and let me go. Just keep moving forward. Okay. So I noticed here that I have to make an adjustment along the side front of the bodice because it goes all the way to the side seam of the dress form, and that will be too big for the wearer of the dress. Okay, so I'm going to measure from one side seam to the other. It measures 20, and I know that that's much too big for the wearer of the dress. So I'm going to make some adjustments so that this dress is going to be perfect on her. Okay, so now that I have my new side seam measurements, I'm going to continue pinning along that seam, along that tape that I just did. And so when I'm pinning, I make sure to smooth it out and do not pull, just smooth right along the seam. And I noticed that there is a little stress, but as before, I'm going to show you how to relieve those stress lines. But the most important thing is to that I'm going to stay on this line. I can see the line through the muslin, and I just pin right along this line. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to keep smoothing right along this side front. I can see the line where I need to be, and the fabric is talking to me. It's telling me that it's going to need to be adjusted as I keep going forward. Okay, so I've completed the pinning on this side. I pinned all the way up the side, and it looks really good. It has a little stress, but we're going to take care of that. And as I smoothed it out going up, I was able to create more of a drape here. So let's continue on the other side. So now I need to cut to get the bulk of this fabric off. And once I do that, I'm going to just relieve some of the stress by clipping from the bottom all the way up to the waistline, and you can see where you need to stop. Just clip and relieve the stress. Okay, so that looks good. And so wherever I see that it needs to be adjusted, I'll just make some fine tuning because I want it to be nice and smooth. That's the end result. Okay, so now I can continue pinning up the sides. And once again, we're going to make sure that we pin and smooth, because the end result again is a nice smooth bodice. Okay, so let's just keep moving forward, or moving up and forward, so we can get this bodice pinned. Okay, so this is coming out really, really nice. It's nice and smooth, and that's the result that I'm looking for. And so what I'm going to do now is mark between my pins here. It's nice and smooth, but I'm going to mark it so that I can start now creating my pattern along these lines. Okay, let me get my marker. You're going to need a Sharpie or some type of marker, and you just are going to find that waistline and then just mark all of the lines between your pins. Okay, so keep marking And once I'm done, I'm going to have my pattern. Okay, so we're going to go all the way up, keep marking up, follow the black line. You can see it through the muslin, and just keep marking. And as you go, don't worry about any of the stress lines. We're going to make sure that those are smoothed out in the end. So just keep marking. So I can see here that I'm going to need to make a slight adjustment at the drape, and that's okay because I'm going to create some pleats here. So this is probably where I'm going to have my pleat. And so once I pin it, let me go ahead and just keep marking all the way up. All right, and that's how you do it. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now what I need to do is just go ahead and cut off all of the excess fabric, and then I'm almost done. Okay, so here you have it, this beautiful cowl neck drape. It came out really nice. So don't forget to come back and watch as I turn this cowl neck drape into a pattern and the pattern into a beautiful dress. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell so you can be reminded when I do more videos like this. And again, thanks so much for watching.